it's very common that we encourage people to diversify when they're doing their financial planning, because it's the old saying, all your eggs in one basket. It's not a sound strategy. So one of the things we do is we encourage a multi-bucket system. Now, what that means is buckets of money that come from different places. And if I get a client that is fresh and they're just getting started, I generally encourage them to do a few buckets for income. Now, the first bucket is I usually encourage the 401k, because more times than not, they're getting a match, and that's 100% return, and that's phenomenal. You just got to do it. But I encourage them, I direct them to not overextend the 401k, because when I do presentations and I show the strategies side by side, the 401k generally performs the worst out of the vehicles I do. But because of the match, it's worth doing, because you want to get that free money. So, super simple example. If an employer says, hey, you give me 5%, I'll give you 5%. Now you got 10% for the cost of 5. Good deal. Take that all day. But don't overextend. Take those extra dollars you were going to invest with and put it into something else. Now, the second bucket I usually encourage, and it can go either way between the two. It's either a cash reserve or a Roth. So I'm going to go over the Roth first. So the Roth is just like the 401k, but they're taxed differently. Your 401k, generally, you pay income tax on it when you take it out. That's usually what happens. So if you put in 5% of your income and you don't pay taxes while it accumulates, whatever that pile, you're going to be taxed on that entire pile when you go to retirement and take distribution. So it's a big tax obligation. There's a lot of tax risk. Now, the way to hedge against that risk is the Roth, where you're taxed when the money's going in. Then the money grows tax-free, and you take distribution income tax-free. Now, right now, the way everything's positioned, the taxes have never been lower, percentage-wise. This is the lowest they've ever been in history. So a lot of advisors encourage people to get their taxes out of the way early, because there's been times in this country where tax rates have been 70, 80, 90%. We're in the 20s for most people right now. So I don't see that ever happening again, but I'm not a genie. I can't see into the future. I'm not a genie, but psychic. So the Roth, you get your tax obligation out of the way early. You grow tax-free. So working those two together is very good, because you got one that's deferring or putting the taxes on the back, and then the other is up front. So you got, if the chance that tax rates are even lower in the future, well, your deferred account's gonna benefit. So now the third strategy, and this is where people tend to not do, and there's a lot of ways. There's several ways to satisfy this bucket. So the third bucket is a cash reserve strategy. Now, cash reserve is just a cash account or a cash equivalent where you can just pull money out tax-free, and you don't have to, you're not selling assets. It's not stocks or bonds. You're just liquidating an account. Because in your 401k and your Roth, when you're producing a paycheck in retirement, you're selling stocks and bonds. So if the market's down 40%, in a big market crash, you're going to be selling your shares at a 40% loss. So the cash equivalent bucket, that during the bad years when the markets are down a lot, that's where you get your paycheck. You don't sell. Now, if you have all three buckets, 401k, Roth, cash equivalent, cash reserve, you'll never have to sell at a loss. And cash equivalent account gives you the opportunity to be more aggressive in your variable stuff, like the stock, like stocks and bonds. So all three pieces are very important. They work in conjunction with each other, because I've mentioned in previous videos, there's no silver bullet in financial planning. There's not one place you can just put your money and forget about it to do this right. There's pros and cons. And financial vehicles, each one is built for a specific type of person. So when I overhear somebody, or they try to challenge me directly, oh yeah, that thing sucks, you shouldn't use it, I just look at it and be like, well, it's not made for you. And I'll make an example of who it's made for, and they'll be like, wow, that's perfect for them. Yeah. So people get ahead of themselves, but I don't degrade them, because they don't. I do this for a living. They don't. They'll read 1 or 2 articles a year, and that's what they'll go off that, where I obsess about this stuff every single day. So that's the multi-bucket strategy. Now, there's other buckets you can do. You can do real estate. You can open a store and sell stuff and take an income from that. There's a million things you can do. But the cash equivalent, I've noticed, a lot of people are missing, and they regret it when it comes time to retire. Thank you.